Hello everybody, this is a Dark and Darker beginner's guide so that you can know how to get started off properly. First things first, I am going to recommend that you play Warlock because he can get his health back very quickly. So when you get to this screen, I would recommend you pick Warlock, naming him Throwaway Lock. Oh, I've already reached maximum number of characters, so we're going to come back on my Warlock and we're going to play it as if we're level 1. Alrighty, so after you create the character, you'll see something like this. First off, let's go through a quick couple of settings. So you will want to hit select server over here, first things first. I'm going to put it to US West, that's the part of the country I live in. Select whichever server is closest to you geographically. And then next up, you will want to hit whichever one of these is showing one of these markers. It rotates every couple of minutes, and it will follow the amount of players that you're playing with. Now, if you're playing in a duo or a trio, if you were, say, playing a duo, you'd hit the one with 2 markers. If you're playing in a trio, hit the one with 3 markers. And if you want to know how to get together with your team, you go to the gathering hall here. I would recommend just hitting the one with the least amount of people in it. So let's say Singapore. And then you can go ahead and right-click on these people and hit invite to party. And it should be pretty easy to find them. There's only 6 people in here. Pretty easy to figure it out. Okay, that said though, this is mostly going to be for, hey, if you are playing solo. So first things first, let's go over to the merchant and go over to the Squire. And the Squire will re-gear you after each time you die, and you will die a lot in this game. You guys have probably heard that the game is very difficult, and it realistically is very difficult. Even the mobs in this game can kill you very quickly. So let's go over here to the base gear set at the top left. And then what we are going to do is swap up the base gear set because certain items are a little bit better than other items. Let's just be honest about this. So first things first, I want you to right click on the crystal ball to send it back. This is what allows you to cast magic, but there are other items that allow you to cast magic. Then I want you to left click on the heater shield and then left click on the spellbook. So now in your slot 1, you are put together for melee fighting and you have a shield. And in your second slot, you have a spellbook, so you can press number 2 on your keyboard to cast your spells. Next up, we want to put on the wizard shoes. These give some magical power, so these are a huge bonus, but frankly, any shoes are much better than no shoes. We also want to put on a wizard hat. That gives us some magical power. And then make certain you have all the consumables equipped. You want torches, you want potions of healing, you want potion of protection, you want bandages. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And now that we're here to this point, all we have to do is hit set base gear. And then you hit equip base gear. And then you can see this is my actual setup, my actual loadout I'm going in. And it will equip that for me. And now every time I die and respawn, I will respawn with this base kit. Great, let's go on next to class. First things first here, we want to hit perk and skill. Your guys' screen is going to look fairly similar to mine here, except these 3 are going to be blocked off. My character is already leveled, but I made certain to set it up very similar to how you guys will see it. So right here, I think you'll have the Malice perk on. This is not the one you want on. The perk that you want on is Torture Mastery, which completely changes how Warlock works. And what Torture Mastery does is all curses inflicted upon enemies restores 2 health per tick of damage dealt. And all Warlock spell costs are doubled when this perk is equipped. So if you aren't using these spells that will heal you, then you don't want this one on. But we are going to use these spells that heal you. It is quite easy to get damaged by mobs in this game, and this is a really easy way to heal yourself back up, which is exactly why I recommend Warlock in the first place. And then once you guys reach level 5, 10, and 15, you will unlock these extra slots, and you absolutely want to come over here to the class tab and perk and skill tab and put in another skill each time. I would recommend after that you put in Vampirism. Vampirism gets you 20% more magical healing, which can be very helpful. Next up after that, you want Curse Mastery. Once again, also very helpful. And then a lot of these other ones are fairly decent and they work fairly well. Frankly, I would go with Malice at this point, although I've also seen people go with Demon Armor if you are going in with not very good items in the first place, because it allows you to wear just a whole bunch more items. But Demon Armor comes with a downside of spellcasting speed gets reduced by 10%. So I'm going to recommend Malice as your 4th perk. So this one right here, Curse Mastery, makes it so that your spells that you use will last 30% longer on the enemies, which means you end up getting more health back from them. This one also means you end up getting more health back from them with Vampirism. And Malice means you will deal more magical damage. That 10% will impacts magical damage. And then let's go down to your active skills. So we have Phantomize and we have Spell Memory. Absolutely do not get rid of Spell Memory. This one is super important. And then over here we have some things like Blood Pact, Blow of Corruption, Dark Offering, and Spell Memory 2. Spell Memory 2 is for if you are really highly kitted, you can wear even more spells. But today, the two that you would want to choose between would be Phantomize, which allows you to get out of a sticky situation quickly. You can just go ahead and press Q, and you become not a part of the physical plane anymore, and you can run away. However, I am not going to recommend Phantomize. I'm going to recommend Blow of Corruption. This makes your next melee attack deal some magical damage as well, and also makes it so the target's physical healing and magical healing after you hit them with it is basically null and void. So what you use this for is if a player jumps you then, you press Q and you smack them in the head with your sword, and it will do a lot of damage to them. Sometimes it can even one-shot them if they're a squishier class. So this can help you get out of sticky situations quick. Now that we've gone over that, we are going to go into Spell. Okay, you guys should see a screen fairly similar to this, and here's what I'm going to tell you guys to put on. Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice are absolute necessities. And Hellfire, I would also absolutely keep. So these three, not Curse of Weakness, these three are very important. And the reason for that is Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice are your two spells that you can use with that Torture Mastery perk that we talked about earlier to heal yourself. So what you do is you hit an enemy with this Curse of Pain, right? This is about a medium range spell, and it's just hit scan. You just go ahead, you look at the enemy as you're casting it and hit them with it, and it will deal 10 damage immediately, and then it will also deal half a damage every second over 8 seconds and heal you for that time. So that would be healing you 4 health then if you don't have any of these extra perks on, which I am going to take these off, by the way, so I can get the authentic new player experience. Now, Power of Sacrifice you can do the same thing with. It does not have any initial damage, but it deals 3 magical damage per second to the target while increasing their strength by 15 and vigor by 15 for 12 seconds. So you can hit them for 12 ticks here with this. So this one can heal you up quite a bit more. But if you do not cast it on the enemy properly, if you miss, it will self-cast on you. So you will end up dealing 36 damage to yourself plus 4, so 40 damage to yourself, which is not a good time. But that said, some enemies are very easy to hit and not too much of a worry. Also though, do keep in mind, the target that it hits, their strength will be increased and their vigor will be increased. Vigor is max health and strength is just melee damage. So this will make the enemy stronger. However, if you're not going to get hit by them, such as if you are kiting them properly or dodging them properly, you're going to be just fine and want to use this. And this can heal you quite a bit then. It could heal you for a maximum of 8 health when you're just starting off and if you have no magical healing items on. And then we have Hellfire over here, which is super fun. So Hellfire is a very slow-moving fireball, pretty much. It goes through walls, and it also goes through enemies after hitting them. And it deals 60 magical damage per second to any target within the area of effect. Also, guys, this can sometimes hit twice if the enemy is large enough, which usually they don't even need to be that large because it moves slow enough. And it's very good for killing off PvE. Now, that said, is it any good for PvP? No, it's terrible. You really won't see late game players bringing Hellfire in, but I highly recommend it for you guys because it's so good against PvE. The whole reason why late game players do not use this is because it's not good in PvP, and once you get into the later game, you end up min-maxing for PvP over all else. Okay, now, with that said, the next spell I would recommend you equip is Bolt of Darkness. Basically, think of this as like a completely straight-firing spell that has infinite range. It will deal 20 damage to the target, and it costs you 4 HP to cast. Also, I'm realizing I haven't explained how Warlock works properly. So Warlock does not have a limit on how many of these spells they can cast. They can keep casting over and over and over. If you have played Dungeons and Dragons, though, it's very similar. It costs health for you to cast these spells. So you're basically doing like some blood spells here, right? The nice thing is you can get health back from this Power of Sacrifice and this Curse of Pain. If you use them well, you'll get a lot of health back. And then Bolt of Darkness you can use to drag enemies that are really far away that you want to drag, or to spam at players across the room if you want to get rid of them and annoy them. And then Hellfire you pretty much use to kill off the PvE. And then the next thing I'm going to tell you guys to put on is actually Summon Hydra. So this summons like a stationary turret, which is a Hydra, and it will spam at enemies nearby. And you can also use this to like block off players who are coming at you or big enemies who are coming at you, so it's very helpful. That said, you can see down here that we do not have enough spell memory to actually run it. That's why this section is crossed off. Now, we get that spell memory, though, by wearing better items. It's not from leveling up, it's from wearing better items. So even if I was on like a level 100 character, it would show the same for me, guys. Which is why it is showing the same for me. I'm like level 30 or something, and you guys are going to be level 1. But you want to equip this just in case you find items in the game that are good and give you that knowledge so that you can use this one. The rest of these spells you really don't need. You could run Curse of Weakness and have it unlocked, for instance. But Curse of Weakness, I would say, is a little bit more of an advanced spell. You guys aren't going to get too much use out of it. It's good for bosses, and it can be used well in PvP, but we're going to avoid that for now. And then next up, I want you guys to come back to this main play screen, and I want you to hit the quest log. And this button down here, accept all, I want you guys to hit accept all. This will start every single quest, so you guys can start progressing very quickly and not be stuck for too long. And now all we have to do is queue into a match. All right, and all you do is hit play at the bottom left and hit the yes button on the Squire there, and you'll be queued in. That was the lobby we were just in, and we are playing on the Forgotten Castle, or the Crypts, whatever you would like to call it. And basically what we are doing here is we're going to fight some mobs and hope not to die. Crypts is honestly my favorite map. It's honestly a bit mid-tier difficulty on PvE, which also generally means mid-tier difficulty on PvP. And basically what this game comes down to is hitting the enemy and then running back. And you guys will find that, hey, I have this all down to muscle memory. Don't think that you are going to hit the enemy and then just get away with it every time. Usually when you're a brand new player, you will die within the first 20 seconds of the match for a couple games. That is the normal experience. Okay, now let's look at these items here. White is better than gray, which is what you start off with. And then green is better than white. However, there are some certain stats we like to min-max for on certain characters. Specifically, knowledge on Warlock is one that's very good. So we like these rawhide gloves. But these leather gloves we also want to keep because we can sell them later and they're a bit higher tier. And so to pull your weapon out, by the way, guys, I need to say you press 1. To attack, you hit left click, and to defend, you hit right click. By the way, the hitboxes in this game are 100% precise. They are not like in other games how they're just close to it. They are 100% precise. How it looks is how it actually is. So if something goes around your shield, it will hit you. And this is quite easy to do in this game if you're another player, and the mobs are kind of programmed to avoid your shield. And once again, we have some more knowledge items, and these have some magical power, so we can drop these boots. You do that with shift plus right click, or you drag it out of the inventory. And to pick up items from chests quickly, you hit right click, guys. And those hotkeys will be very important because this game is all about speed of being able to do these things. That's how you get ahead of other players. We'll keep the heavy gauntlets just to sell later because they are green. And we got a green lantern and green gem ring. The treasures are just for selling, and they are worth more per inventory slot. So I always recommend you grab those first. And we also got occultist boots here. Will is another very good stat for us to get up. And so we are actually going to swap that out with the other guy that we have over here. And there is a player coming up on me, so I am going to roll him. You press E to pull out your spells when you're on your spellbook, and then you drag your cursor up and just press E again, and now I have Curse of Pain on. Let's go beat this guy up. And he's dead. So what I did there was I pressed Q after pressing 1. And by the way, guys, when you pull out a weapon, it kind of slows you down. There is actually a trick to that. And this is a spider pot right here. You want to break that. So there is a trick to that. When you want to jump up on a player like that and you want to go quick, you jump and then pull it out versus doing this, which keeps you slow because there's a speed removal for doing that. But your momentum stays exactly the same if you're in the air. 3 Vigor Boots. A better heater shield, we'll want to put that on. It gives us more damage. And he also has lockpicks. Lockpicks are very valuable. I highly recommend you always pick them up whenever you see them. They're worth about, say, 100 gold for 2 of them. It can vary a little bit, but they're very good. And they allow you to open up big chests. Now, guys, let's go back to the spells real quick. So, Curse of Pain is our big guy. And we want to go ahead and let's go in this room. I'll show you guys how to cast Curse of Pain. So you press E while holding out the spellbook, which is number 2 on the keyboard. And then you press right click, you aim, and you fire. By the way, it does fire about 0.2 seconds after you actually click the button. And you just want to make certain you hit those because remember, it does cost you health. So if you miss enough times, it'll actually end up losing you health. But as long as you hit the enemy, you're going to be good. By the way, guys, if you need a full reset, these Shrines of Health give you 100 health back, which is usually close to your full health bar. So you can just press F on those and get all of your health back. Pretty simple. See, I'll just show you guys. You just press F to interact with it. When it hits 100% on there, it'll give you your health back. And those do recharge, by the way. It takes a couple of minutes, but they do recharge. So you can camp them if you've got enough time left in the match. Now we're going to time these axes. Fantastic. And the more enemies you have Curse of Pain on, the more health you're going to be getting back. So I always like to hit a couple enemies with it in the first place. And the biggest thing is, guys, just keep walking backwards while you are attacking enemies if they're coming towards you like this. These guys are fairly easy to dodge, but not all enemies are fairly easy to dodge in this game. Don't feel bad if you die 20 seconds in. That's normal. Look at all the players dead at the top right. And that's fairly normal for these new lobbies. It's just new players playing, and these enemies can be very hard to kite if you don't already have the muscle memory down of kiting them. Basically, how this game works is you inch forward for a second, hit them, and then they will try and hit, and you back off just right, and that's the main skill differentiator in this game. All right. I'm hearing another player. He's running. He's too far. I hit him. He was already low health. That's what the little green means. That means he's healing up. And Warlock is not very fast, by the way, so chances that it catches this guy pretty low unless he makes a mistake. Which he is. Brother! Brother! I will let you live. Goodbye. Have a health potion. Also, guys, if you haven't already, make certain to enable VoIP in the options. Just make certain to turn that on. I believe it's in audio. You want proximity. You could do always or push to talk, and you want voice chat on in the options. And that's always fun. You can have interactions like that. There's certain bosses where you need to interact with other players in the lobby to actually kill them, the Wyvern on the ice map. And teaming up is honestly your best bet most of the time. You got to find somebody who's actually got VoIP on like that. If he didn't have it on, I was just going to kill him. But, oh, we got another player over there. You see his potions? This guy knows how to play the game. I can see he has some gear on. We're going to see if we can get this guy messed up pretty bad, too. We got him. That guy actually knew how to play the game, by the way. That guy is not a new player. I got lucky there. He could have very, very easily killed me. Like, I was very, very close to death there. He was trying to trick me by hiding in the darkness over there. He did not know to take off his potions, though. Quite frankly, I probably do have a couple hundred more hours than him, but this guy is not brand new. This guy is a little bit more experienced, we'll say. And treasures like this, guys, the little gold items, are practically always worth more unless you have an item that's like super, super high tier. So I recommend you guys grab those. And pendants and rings are really, really valuable. So always grab those if you can. Okay, and we are pretty much full inventory. You could see I used the Shrine of Health there. And you see this on the map right above us. It's this little blue staircase. That's where we want to go. So little blue staircase means that is an exit. We want to get out of here. Now, I don't know where this exit actually is. I've never seen this one before. But we will look for it. And then you'll also see little red staircases on the map from time to time. You guys are going to want to avoid those. I personally like those, but those lead you down into the inferno. The inferno is a very hard section of the game. It puts you into a second round with stronger enemies, better loot, all that jazz. We're actually going to close this behind me. I don't know where that staircase is. I'm supposed to be the guide here, guys, and I don't know where that staircase is. So, my bad on that one, guys, but we're going to go ahead and go find another one. Now, this guy over here was already killing some of the stuff for us. So, we're going to go ahead and see if we can run past. I think I might have aggroed the champion there. I'm not certain if he's coming up behind me, but we're just going to hope not. Just a couple skull bats. Heads up, by the way, if they've got a sword or a bow or anything like that, they can break the door. And you guys can see there, even I get hit by mobs. Like, I have a couple hundred hours in this game. It's very normal. Don't worry about it. Just heal back up using your Curse of Pain. I'm actually not going to grab those because... Oh, I need that. Give me that. I need that for a quest. Okay, we see a player has already been through here. Now, this is an axe skeleton. Axe skeletons are the hardest ones to dodge. I honestly recommend you guys just back up and hit them with a Hellfire. Or you can use your shield to go ahead and engage with them. But you gotta block up then. And now he's dead. I think I hit both those guys with the Hellfire. Let's see what the Axeman dropped. Wow, Knowledge 4 boots. These are just straight up better version of the other ones. I'm gonna put those on instead, actually. And you guys can see I do have Hydra, by the way. I'll quick show that off. It's pretty much just like a turret you can summon. And it's super helpful because enemies will aggro onto it. And see this blue light right here, guys? That means this guy is open. They only open up later into the match. And you want to make certain the gate in the back is open as well, because that means you can run in it. And that's it. I just made it out of a match. We killed 2 people. And this is another way to exit, by the way. This portal right here that this guy is opening, there's that stone formation on the ground. And this will pop up at about 3 minutes left in the match. And then you press F on those, and that will let you extract out of the game. So if you see that little circular formation on the ground and it has like some blue etching in it, you can just camp next to that and that will work for you. And we can see this is another player who knows what he's doing. He's looting the right items. I wouldn't use the crystal ball falchion combo, but he probably doesn't know about the Squire thing that I showed you guys at the beginning. And this is another area right here I want you guys to see, the red lighting right there. That is an extract, but that is an extract down into Inferno, which is where this guy is going. He is going right down into the Inferno, so he'll be in the waiting room right here, and this will put him in the waiting lobby for the next map. This guy is probably a fairly good player if he's thinking, hey, I can beat Inferno, and he is playing Cleric, which is good for it. And so he'll be put down into a much harder map with much harder enemies and much better drops. When you guys get a little bit more experience, I would recommend trying it out, but it's hard. Just keep that in mind. It is like 3 or 4 times as hard as map 1 is. Now we're going to hit exit to lobby. Don't hit exit game. That exits you out of the whole game. And by the way, I'm pressing escape there for that. And remember, tab is for inventory. And now we have this inventory full of juicy loot. So first things first, I'd recommend, guys, is take off any of these items that went on your hotbar and put them in your stash like so. And if it's a potion you spawn with, you will be able to get it back from the Squire. I'll show you just how in a second. And what I want you guys to do is come in here, and you will have some like turn-in quests. And I recommend that you guys hit fill all items and then hit deliver items if you've got anything. You can see there, I still haven't finished the ceremonial dagger one. That's probably because I was selling those for a while. Or you can see right here, I have a bowstring. Let's turn that guy in. When you finish enough quests with the traders, this gives you better items that the traders sell, which is important to account progression. And a lot of these just require that you kill people, things like that. You can see I had an ale to turn in there. You guys are going to have some different quests than I am, but the concept stays the same. After you turn in all those items, then let's go to the merchants. First things first, you want to go to the collector. He is right down here at the bottom left. Go ahead and click on him. And then anything that looks like jewelry or a golden item, he is the guy to buy. We do not want to sell lockpicks to him, that's for certain. It doesn't look like he buys those in the first place. But yeah, any of these like treasure items, he will buy. And then anything that's like a gear item, we will sell to another trader. So you can sell it to like half the traders in here. I always go to Weaponsmith though, because I used to be an Escape from Tarkov player, and you used to have to sell them in that game to the best trader. That is not a thing in this game. If you can sell it to them, you are getting the highest price for that item. These Francisca axes I am selling. Honestly, probably should have grabbed something else instead of those. And this Rondel dagger. Green lantern. That's 20. Nice. This frost amulet. I would recommend you guys keep this, actually, because you can wear it into another match. But I'm just going to sell it. And then I'm going to sell this rat pendant. This fox pendant. I will definitely keep those occultist boots, though. Those are very nice. And it looks like I actually missed a couple of items from my last sell-off. So let's go ahead and make certain we sell those. We want this grave essence gone. This can be used to craft items later when we're a bit more progressed. Sell the diamonds, sell the rotten fluids, also for crafting things. And then that's gone. And then let's go take these silver coins over to the treasurer. And you click on these, and then you buy the gold coins with the silver coins. You can also keep them, and I believe you go over here, and yeah, you make a silver ingot with 60 of these silver coins if you'd rather. So I'm going to do that because I've got 58 and some in my stash. And then you can hit the stash button, and you can stash your item. Real quick, before you stash all that gold you've made, go over to the treasurer again and get a gold coin purse or 2. This just makes it a lot more space efficient in your stash, which you will find very quickly that you will hoard a ton of items, and that's helpful just to stay on top of it. Now, these boots are fantastic for my character, so I'm keeping those. This campfire kit I would also like to use, and same with these lockpicks. Those are great. I'm going to shift plus right click on these. And then we've got some items here that I don't want to bring back in. This ring of quickness, that's actually a decent item. Ox pendant, I don't want to bring back in. These boots, those are a great item, and I don't want to bring those back in because let's look out down here. The gear score is over 44. We want to get it below 25, guys. So the moment you get it below 25, you are good to go. And the easiest way to do that, guys, is see anything on you that's like green or any higher tier, like blue. And let's just go ahead and take that off. And now we're down to 7. Let's go back to the Squire now. You don't have to die to get your base gear back, by the way. You just go over here and you hit equip base gear on the Squire again, and then you are good to go. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. That will level you up a couple of levels. Honestly, if you have a full round like that, you might make it all the way to level 5, or you might be a couple levels short off of just your first round. And killing other players is also a good way to get loot, because then you can loot all of their stuff off of them. But remember, if you aren't the better player than them, you're going to end up being the one hunted. So if you're feeling like, hey, I'm not too confident in my skills yet, that's all good. Just stay back for a bit, fight the PvE. If you hear another player roaming around, walk off. You are all good. No big deal. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Past that, you can use your gold to buy items from, say, like the armorer or the weaponsmith or anything like that. And one more tip I wanted to give you guys is, if you find a weapon in the match that isn't a falchion or, you know, a heater shield to put in here or a spellbook, I'd recommend you stay away from it. Not because, let's say, like, it's a way higher tier item. Like, let's say you find a blue halberd, right? That would absolutely be a better weapon. But the reason I would recommend you stay away from it is because you need to learn the attack pattern with this falchion first and get good with it. Every weapon has a different attack pattern, and it takes a long time to learn all the weapons' attack patterns. So I'd recommend you stick with this. Now, if you find a green falchion, put that on immediately instead of this falchion. It's literally just a straight upgrade. But if it's a different weapon, I would avoid it. Okay, anyways though, guys, that is the beginner's guide. If you guys have any comments or anything else that you guys would recommend a new player do, put it in the comments below. One quick last thing I want to show you guys to do is go over here to video. If you have a high refresh rate monitor, put the maximum frame limit up a little bit higher. Mine goes up to 240, so I put it at 241. And then screen brightness, I recommend you turn all the way up. This game is super dark, and this gives you a gameplay advantage. All right, guys. Anyways, though, that is it for me. If you guys liked the video, subscribe for more. Bye-bye.